Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. Today we're unpacking something, honestly, it's truly extraordinary. There's a book out there so incredibly powerful that it's been obsessively read by military generals, Fortune 500 CEOs, elite athletes, and world leaders for over 2.5 millennia. We're talking about a text that has literally shaped empires and boardrooms alike. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the grand misconception surrounding this legendary text. I mean, you hear the name Sun Tzu and the title The Art of War, and your mind probably goes straight to, battlefields, swords, and literal armies clashing in the mud. We tend to think it's a manual for defeating some external adversary, but that is exactly where most people get it completely wrong. It's not really about war at all. Actually, let me clarify that. It's not about physical war. It's about something much closer to home. It is an incredibly intimate guide about the battles you and I fight every single day, the conflicts happening right now inside your own mind, your own life, and your daily decisions. Sun Tzu's wisdom, originally written on bamboo scrolls thousands of years ago, might just be the absolute most practical guide to navigating modern life that you've never truly read. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to travel back about 2,500 years to ancient China, to a period known as the Warring States era. This was a completely fractured, brutal world where survival was never guaranteed. Dozens of kingdoms were just constantly at each other's throats. In that kind of high-stakes environment, one bad decision didn't just mean a bruised ego. It meant total defeat. One single moment of arrogance could end absolutely everything. And it was in this unforgiving crucible that Sun Tzu developed a profoundly rare philosophy for survival. He realized that surviving required this concept of absolute clarity, the ability to see things exactly as they are. Not as you wish they were, right? And not as you fear they might be, just as they actually are. Sun Tzu believed that this honest seeing is the absolute beginning of all wisdom and the unbreakable foundation of every single victory you'll ever have. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the internal battlefield, knowing the true enemy. To understand this internal battlefield, let's look at this famous line. Know yourself and know your enemy. In 100 battles, you will never be defeated. Now, most people jump straight to that second part. They obsess over knowing the enemy, studying the competition, analyzing every external threat. But look closely at the phrasing there. Sun Tzu prioritized knowing yourself first. And in his philosophy, that sequencing is absolutely everything. Why? Because the greatest battles we lose in life are rarely against other people. They're against ourselves. Our real enemies are, our own fear, our towering egos, our massive blind spots, and our stubborn refusal to see the truth. Sun Tzu understood that if you don't know yourself, if you're blind to your own weaknesses, your toxic patterns, your emotional triggers, you're going to be defeated again and again by the exact same enemy, yourself. Section 2, winning without fighting, the paradigm shift. Sun Tzu famously wrote, "Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting." I want you to read that again. It literally goes against everything Hollywood has taught us about victory. The highest form of victory requires absolutely no battle at all. And this isn't because you're weak or just avoiding conflict. It's because you are wise enough to solve the problem before it ever becomes a war, whether we're talking about office politics or family dynamics. And this brilliantly illustrates how we usually get this wrong in our own lives. Think about a conflict you've had recently. You start with a small tension, right? But it becomes an ignored problem, which snowballs into an escalated argument. And then, bam, a broken relationship. A wise person doesn't wait for the explosion at the end of that timeline. They see the tension coming, they address it early, and they find the solution before the damage is done. Prevention is always, always infinitely more powerful than reaction. Section 3, the power of restraint, preparation, and patience. There is this incredible contrast in how we approach problems. Defeated warriors go to war first and then scramble to figure out how to win. But victorious warriors, they win first and only then go to war. Honestly, this concept alone could transform your life. Most people operate like defeated warriors. A problem pops up and they just scramble. An opportunity hits and they try to figure it out on the fly. But the victorious warrior has already done the heavy thinking way in advance. They prep by locking down 3 crucial things before the pressure even hits. Number 1, know your values before the test comes. Number 2, know your limits before you're pushed past them. And 3, know your response before the crisis even arrives. This kind of preparation isn't just practical, it's a profound form of wisdom. The person who's thought clearly about these things in advance prevents chaos entirely.
And doing that prep work gives you the superpower of patience. Sun Tzu wrote, "Move only when there is advantage. If there is no advantage, do not move." Sounds super simple, right? But man, we rarely live this way. How often do you make a comment out of pure anxiety or furiously type out an aggressive reply all email before taking a breath? We have this toxic modern need to just do something, rather than possessing the wisdom to wait. Sun Tzu saw unnecessary action as a massive waste of human energy. Sometimes the absolute most powerful move on the board is the strategy of doing absolutely nothing. To just wait, to observe, to let a messy situation clarify itself before you commit your precious energy. And let me be clear here, this is not laziness. This is high-level strategy. The ability to be still when everyone around you is panicking is one of the rarest, most intensely valuable qualities a human being can ever develop. Let's move to and see how this builds into section 4, flow like water, master adaptability. Once you've got clarity and restraint locked down, you've got to learn how to move through a completely unpredictable world. Sun Tzu observed, water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground. Just as a soldier has to work out their victory in relation to the specific foe they're facing, he's telling us that there is no single fixed strategy that works for every situation. You can't just memorize a playbook. You must have the presence of mind to read the actual situation unfolding right in front of you and respond to it. Because when reality actually hits, rigid people break, while flexible people flow, adapting to what is genuinely real, instead of what you arrogantly expected or planned for, is literally the key to surviving and thriving. It's the exact same principle Lao Tzu's taught about water, applied directly to the battlefields of our daily lives. Observe, adapt, flow. So the crucial point is Section 5, Master Yourself, the final reflection. How does all this ancient philosophy connect intimately back to you? Well, Sun Tzu's final and greatest lesson is that the ultimate victory isn't over an opponent or a bad circumstance, it's mastery over yourself. It requires controlling your impulses, managing your fears, taming your ego, and suppressing that frantic need to react immediately. Knowing when to push forward and when to step back isn't just some military tactic, it is the ultimate life skill. When you master this, you unlock profound freedom. Not the freedom to do everything, but the freedom of knowing exactly what deserves your energy and what absolutely does not. So, I want you to look past your reputation for a second. Look past the achievements, past that polished version of yourself you show the world. Look at your actual everyday self and ask, what battle are you currently fighting that you could win simply by knowing yourself better, by actually facing your true weaknesses? And finally, what conflict in your life right now could be completely resolved before it becomes a full-blown war if you were just willing to see it clearly? That honest seeing, that is where Sun Tzu's wisdom truly begins, and it's where every real victory in your life will always start. Until next time, stay focused and keep learning.